Guys, happy Sunday. Good morning. Daryl here. It's almost 5:30 a.m. It is a warm, windy day here on the East Coast in Connecticut. Actually hit 60 yesterday. I actually laid outside with my shirt off to start catching a tan in January, which, believe me, in New England is a very unusual thing. Okay, I want to talk about Bernie Sanders. I want to talk about socialism, and I want to talk about capitalism. Now, I didn't go to I went to college, but I didn't go. I didn't get an education in politics. I got a rough idea of these things. Um, Let me talk about Bernie Sanders first. Something at first I didn't think he was a good candidate. And this is one more thing too is I'm not endorsing any one particular candidate yet because I haven't particularly made my mind up yet. Initially, I was leaning towards Biden. Then I saw Andrew Yang, and I liked a lot of stuff he had to say, but his chances, I think he may be, I don't know how long he's going to be in this race. Bernie Sanders. I thought, don't jump on me for this. Please don't, please don't start writing in the comments already. But I thought maybe that he might be a spoiler. I know I hate to say that word. I know I'm going to catch hell for that already. And then his health. I was worried about that. I'm going to be honest. But I've seen some things lately that inspire me. The fact that the baby boomer generation is aging out, and it seems as though this new generation, you're going to have to forgive me here, I believe they're called Generation Z. The youngest ones, like I said, I didn't look this up this morning yet, from 18 to 20, 28 maybe. I think it's Generation Z, and then the millennials are older than them. It's a different mindset. It's a whole different mindset, a more progressive. There's less fear of new ideas. It's something I like and I can identify with. I don't know if I'm older, but I like that idea. Something I saw too in comments all over the place. You guys, I've told you guys before. I look over a multitude of channels: Fox News, CNN, BBC, Associated Press, and the enthusiasm behind Bernie Sanders is amazing. And I started thinking about that. And then I saw something Bernie Sanders said too. I mean, yeah, granted, it was self-serving in towards his election, but he was saying how we need an invigorating candidate, somebody that people are excited to vote for, ideas that people are excited. Not just to beat Trump, but something people can believe in, that can strive for. And I started to buy into it. I got to admit, and I agree. We don't just need an anti-Trump or somebody less evil than Trump or somebody less stupid than Trump. The lesser of two evils. Again, I think we need to shy away from that. I started thinking about capitalism. It's what created this country. It's what created the incentive, the inventions, the whole rise of what made the country great. But I started to think that in a lot of ways it seems to need a tune-up, or it's run its course because we have such a huge divide now. Initially, it was to create the atmosphere of growth, where people want to start up a company here, a mom and pop there, ideas, so everybody had an option, an incentive to grow, to build, to discover. And it worked great. But I noticed today it's become extreme, and maybe it's become somewhat outdated. Maybe it needs a tune-up, because now we have the big box stores, the Walmarts. The mom and pop stuff is pretty much disappeared. The smaller startups are, unless they're here on the internet, the smaller startups, it's starting to get so divided that you have the built up corporations already existing that just are getting wealthier and buying up more and more. And then the people that are working or enslaved to them getting, I won't say poorer, but more just enslaved, really, just serving the richer. You know, it seems like capitalism it's a good idea, but it's become extreme. I think that's my point. I'm just talking through this now. Then we have socialism, and I think there's a need for that too, to bring in more of an equality between the extreme wealth and the working class, or the enslaved class, as I almost would call them. And let's look at colleges. I don't have kids, and it's been years since I've been in school. So, but it would seem that tuition and this promise of going to school and getting out and getting a great job is becoming a dream, a pipe dream. It's become, and I see the colleges around here, UConn, for example, just raising their tuition, $15,000 a year here, there. It's scary, because you start to get the feeling that only the very wealthy are getting more of an opportunity to get an education. Again, you're getting this big divide, and I think back to communism. It seemed like a good idea, but it played out, and it wasn't. As all anything that has a fault, eventually the fault will become obvious, and it did with communism. It became choked off, and we all saw how that played out. And I'm wondering too if capitalism needs a tune-up, where we would go more towards democratic socialism, and Bernie Sanders, to more or less. I don't want to even say even the playing field, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm endorsing handouts. God forbid. I'm just talking about the playing field. To me, seems to have gotten way out of whack, where there's just a gully in one end and a mountain on the other, the proverbial playing field. And free college, or at least something to help with tuition, I think is definitely needed. The rising, and you look at the price. I was looking up the price of rent across the entire country, and it's become ridiculous that people are spending, I think it was like 50% of their income on rent, and just on rent. The younger people before they buy, and then millennials have complained all this time that it's out of their reach to buy these homes now. The American dream, it seems like it's become out of reach, and the rich get richer, and that's the way they like it, and that's the way they want to keep it, and thus we have Trump. They talked about too how, along with people getting older and living older, that the houses aren't getting recycled back into. It's a good thing, of course. Nobody wants people to die at an early age, but as a consequence, the homes aren't getting recycled back into the market, where you have this older generation accruing more and more wealth, and not putting, the homes aren't going back into the market, which creates more of a demand, which creates higher prices again. Like I said, and I think this needs to be addressed. It seems that the American dream is getting a little skewed, a little out of reach. Again, this is just off the top of my head. I'm not a political science major or economics major. It's just an observation. And Bernie Sanders seems like something I could get behind, something invigorating, something. The Medicare for all, because as we all know, it needs to be fixed. This whole system. Again, we had Trump come in here promising to get rid of Obamacare. I had an argument with somebody in my family the other day. she hates Obamacare. She hates it. She says, oh, it's too expensive, And I was reading up on it, and it seems to be going down in price lately. And it seems more and more more Americans than ever are insured, which is a very good thing. And I pointed this out to my family member. She was upset that that you're being forced to get insurance, and I pointed out this fact, and I don't know why they can't see that. Okay, so you opt not to have insurance. Who do you think pays for that when you go to the emergency room, to the hospital? It raises the prices. And I got no response from the family member. So you're going to pay for it one way or the other. At least when people are insured, it becomes more even. Then they're going to pay for what they need, hopefully, in a perfect world. Like I said, these Trump supporters, sometimes I think they miss the obvious that, well, people should be allowed not to have insurance. They shouldn't be forced. I agreed with her to some extent that you shouldn't be fined, but then what other incentive do you have? What other option do you have to get people to do this? Like with car insurance, it's you have to have car insurance for the same reason. If you hurt somebody, somebody's got to pay for that. And I think having a law to have insurance is a good thing, because somebody is going to have to pay for that. These people are going to go to the hospital. They're going to be sick, and it's, and then it's like sometimes I think these Trump supporters don't understand. Who do you think pays for that? The magical hospital fairy? No, it gets the prices go up. The hospital jacks up the price of an aspirin to $30 a tablet to pay for the uninsured people. And Obama was trying to alleviate that ridiculous trend where the hospital is charging insane prices for simple things to make up the cost of uninsured people. I don't know the specifics of what's feasible, what is doable money-wise. I know what we were told over and over again, that our Social Security is in trouble, that by 2035 it'll be insoluble. Is that the word? Insoluble. You won't be able to pay full benefits to everybody as promised. It could be easily solved if the billionaire class ponied up a little more. How many billions does somebody need, really? But that sounds like a socialist or communist there, don't I? Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. I've been invigorated. I have enthusiasm. Seeing other people's enthusiasm and support for Bernie has made me give him a second look. I think it's a good thing, an excitement, and not just opting for the lesser of two evils. We saw how that worked out last time, and I won't get into Hillary, but I didn't think she was evil. But we'll save that for another video. All right, you guys have a great Sunday.